It is Virat Kohli's 35th birthday and India is celebrating. The former Indian captain has brought up the record equaling 49th ODI 100 that we all had been waiting for. India have battled their way to 326 for 5 against South Africa in this top-of-the-table clash of the ICC World Cup. That game coming to you from Kolkata, the iconic Eden Gardens, witnessing a Kohli masterclass. That what more Sri Lanka's 1996 World Cup winning coach and someone who saw Virat Kohli break through international cricket is the right man to have with me. Dev, we have to start with the birthday boy. And what a century.
Oh, absolutely. Look, I know this is not the final. I know that he battled to get 101, but to me, this would have to be one of his better ones in all of those 49. Honestly, it was a really tough wicket to bat on, and he was a masterclass in showing how to spend time against some pretty decent bowling, weather the storm, pick up your fours when it came along, and just keep accumulating ones and twos, running hard. All those things were on show today. For me, it would have been one of his much better ones in his 49.
Yes, and we usually remember a Kohli 100 for the way he sort of starts out and then catches up towards the end. But as Dav has been saying to us as well when we were sitting and watching the game, this is a very difficult wicket. Let's go full frame to that graphics on our screen. The graphics for the most international centuries. Look closely at the ODI format. 49 Tendulkar, 49 Virat Kohli. He missed out in the last couple of games, got a 80 against Sri Lanka. There was a 95 there as well against New Zealand. But it's over. The wait is over. For Indian cricket fans, just put this in context, because we saw those phones out, everyone waiting for the moment, and a very subdued celebration from Virat Kohli as well. Because does that tell you the grind that it was today?
Perhaps so, but I think underneath it all, he understands that that it was a hard-fought one, and it's just another 100 along the way, some runs along the way. What will count, of course, is when they play on the 19th of November. That's the big day, and if he gets three figures there, then I'm sure the celebration will be a little bit better than this. But really, he would have been tired for sure. I mean, he did a lot of running, and all of this was done on a special 35th birthday.
Yes, we in fact brought it up in our pre-show. But just talking about the innings, I'm just going to look at some of his numbers. 101 runs of 121 balls.
What does that say?
Yes, and 10 fours and no sixes. And there was a point there when we felt he was getting frustrated, especially with Tabrez Shamsi sort of bowling over the wicket into the pads and trying to frustrate him. And it's important that he didn't lose focus. They also perhaps recalibrated that they had a great start, but for him it was about staying till the end, because all the new batters who were coming in was struggling on this wicket.
Well, that's right. Any new batsman coming in, was always going to find it difficult to settle in, unless you're coming right at the end like Jadeja did and throwing the bat, and he did it very well. But yes, you're right. It was if you expose the new batsman too early, then he would take a lot of time settling in, and that would use up valuable balls. So once you're set, the old adage, you make the most of it. Today, Virat Kohli did that, but because of the difficulty of the pitch, after 121 balls, who would ever think you only get 100?
We're more used to seeing him chase down a big score, 180 of 130, 40 balls. He always sort of seems to catch up. His strike rate is always in the high 90s, or even at better than a runner ball. What does this tell you about the caliber of the batter as well? Because he knows the occasion, it's his birthday, everyone's come there to watch a Kohli 100. And India were off to a blazing start. Let's not forget that context as well. Blazing start. But then, suddenly, from overs 11 to 20, they could hardly get a run.
That's right. So it wasn't so much. I think the occasion, apart from his birthday, I don't think that figures in his mind too much. This was another one-day international, a World Cup game, and it was billed as the game of two giants. So that
Super
was,
Sunday clash, the top table clash.
Very important, for India to win, whether it's Virat getting 100 or somebody else getting 100. It was his day today, and the fact that he had to graft. Not many players would have done that, and that's the beauty and the toughness of the guy. I'm very happy for him, very proud of him, what he's done today, and I feel sure that he would rate that pretty high up.
Yes, you've been mentioning that, and the reason why it's great to have Dav Watmore here is because in 2008, India won the Under-19 World Cup under the captaincy of a certain Virat Kohli, and in the studio, when we were watching the end of that innings, there was Kohli and Jadeja batting, who again was in that team. How have you seen him evolve over the years? The batting was always, the talent was always there. But this change from someone who was talented to an absolute champion, I think that is something we need to sort of talk about. Because suddenly, like Novak Djokovic perhaps, I think that's the right example, he suddenly threw a flick, and from a good player, he became a great player.
Well, the flick, in my mind, is very clear. The flick, when he turned the corner, was the discipline to lose weight. That's probably the hardest thing to do. When you're a Delhi boy who loves his food.
Chole Bhature.
Yeah, he loves his food, and he probably still does. But, to have the discipline, presence of mind to say, right, he looked himself in the mirror and said, that's just horrible, I've got to do something, and then go ahead and do it. That takes a lot of discipline, and that more than anything would screaming at me that he was absolutely focused and disciplined to make it as a cricketer, and the levels to which he will end up, is anybody's guess, but that was, to me, was the turning point.
Okay. There's also a game going on. We've celebrated Kohli. We'll talk about him much more. Lots of comments coming in from all of you out there. Let's look at the scorecard. There's also a crucial World Cup game, as Dav was saying, and we're going to see the Indian scorecard coming up on our screens. Great start from India. Got about 90 odd in the first 10. Rohit Sharma really going after the bowling. But then South Africa pulled it back. And then perhaps the slowness in the pitch makes us perhaps realize that the 77 from Shreyas Iyer as well was worth its weight in gold. Perhaps that was as good as 1995.
Well, yeah, that partnership of, 130 was it? 134 or whatever? That really was the base from which, they got the 300. 134, there you go. But yeah, they were very fortunate to get a rollicking start. Didn't help that Jansen bowled a horrible first over. I think the occasion may have been a little bit too much for him. Usually we're used to him bowling under lights and he's getting wickets, but on this day he was way short of the mark. And Ngidi as well didn't also have a good start. So Rohit Sharma took full toll of that, and he's had a very healthy strike rate with 40 runs and not so many balls, and that was the impetus. Perhaps a little unlucky to get out when he smashed the ball to mid-off. A little more elevation, that was gone, one bounce into the boundary line. So, that allowed the batsman to take a little bit of time and not feel too bad about it.
Okay.
I still think Virat Kohli would have got 100, even if the total was a lot less when he came into bat. So he had a lot of overs, didn't he, to bat, and to only get 101 is also a reflection of the difficulty of the pitch and the wonderful effort that he put in today. Okay,
let's bring up that scorecard again. And then let's try and break down this Indian innings. Okay, so here you have this score. So obviously Shreyas and Rohit. In fact, Shreyas Iyer at one point was 5 of 20 balls. How do they recalibrate at that point of time? What's the message they send back to the dressing room, to the other batters? And now when they look at what they've got, is it enough? That's the big question. Is this going to be enough against this magnificent South African batting lineup? which has been scoring in the high 300s.
I think everybody in that connected with the team would have an idea what would be a good score on it. Certainly, the batsmen in the middle would be having a very accurate idea of what they should be getting. But normally, when you say what's a good score, then you come up with an answer. But if you can get more than that, even better. But I think this wicket here is more like a 250 wicket, I think. But to get 300 is just a wonderful effort. 326, in fact, was really, I think, more than what the batting team second will find in their ability to get that. So I think it's a very good score. And it was all down to those partnerships that created.
And crucial runs at the end. Jadeja, even Surya Kumar Yadav as well. But I'm told we've got Kohli's wagon wheel ready. Let's look at Kohli's wagon wheel. And at the end, when he walked off, it had the air of a happy person, a happy man,
satisfied.
content, not showing the usual emotion that we see. But what does this tell you? Let's look at where his runs are. On the offside, 10 and 2, 12, 36, 41 runs on the offside. And 70, how was that, 70 is it? No.
39, 49, 53, 60 odd, isn't it?
60 of them, yeah. 60 on the leg.
Yeah. But when you're playing on slower pitches, you'll find more of the runs square
of the wicket.
Yeah.
Which is what, 24 and 25. That's
Yep.
49.
Yep.
49 and 5, 54. And 68 runs square of the wicket,
Yeah, so a lot of those 14s would have been ones down the ground.
On the ground, yeah.
Certainly the 5s would have been long singles down the ground. He's played it to perfection, really, when you look at the slowness of the pitch and the way it was turning. And he doesn't sweep, so they had the luxury of not worrying about having a sweeper down there for that shot. So he's done it really well.
Let's bring up Kohli's ODI numbers. Let's look at Virat Kohli's career numbers in one-day internationals. Remember, as we've been saying, he's equal to the great Tendulkar. But there's an interesting stat to look at. I think Kohli gets to this in his 289th ODI. The great Sachin played for 60 plus. The number of runs in sort of the innings taken to get to this mark is like one every 5. 1 every 5 for Kohli.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, I had a look at that graphic before, and I thought, gee, he's done it pretty quickly. Then I also saw Tendulkar's Test hundreds. It's a lot of Test hundreds as well. And it's going to that's his ODI
289
record.
matches.
Yeah.
4,970. 50, so that's about 120 times that he's contributing. Yeah. He's also the master of the chase, and today is not the opportunity to talk about that. Today we're celebrating Virat Kohli, the magnificent batter.
So how many games did Sachin Tendulkar take?
463, 464.
So the big difference.
It's about 180, 150, 160 at least.
Huge difference.
Huge difference.
Yeah. So
but I think Tendulkar's longevity, also Tendulkar, I think the first 80 matches that he played was in the middle order. So we need to factor that in. I think his first 100 came when he was opening, I think it was in his 80th or perhaps sometime. We'll have to look at that. But the evening show will actually sort of make that comparison and look at these two great cricketers in detail.
I know we're talking ODI, but Tendulkar's Test match.
Yeah, let's bring up the other one. Let's look at that. The international hundreds, the most international hundreds, that has Tendulkar and Virat Kohli 59. In the same one as well. The one we ran earlier on this broadcast. 51 over there for Sachin and 49. Kohli 49 and 29. But coming close, 78 in total, in all.
Yeah.
That's a lot more than some really great batters we have seen, like Sangakkara, Ricky Ponting, who was on the commentary, Jacques Kallis, who you worked with at the Knight Riders as well.
A very impressive set of figures, all of them really. But, gee, Virat Kohli getting that in just 78, it's just amazing, really. You sort of forget about that until you come back to these statistics. Really good. Well done, son.
Okay, so let's look at what's coming up. We need to look at the innings progression for India, and that will tell you a story. started off like an express train. This great South African bowling lineup who we've sort of talked up a lot, really went for a lot of runs. When we look closely at the innings progression, that will also show you how they sort of came back, especially when you get to, what, 90 odd in the first 10? And then they've sort of, conceded about 200 and something odd of the next 40. Here we go. 91 of the first 10. And then, of the next 10, 33. But you felt that Temba Bavuma missed a trick here. He bowled Keshav Maharaj as a very defensive option. But was that the sort of ask of the match at that stage, Tav?
I think he was gun-shy, wasn't he? He was a bit worried that all those runs were scored in the first 10, that we needed to bring it back down. But that was a mistake, clearly. But when you talk about the innings progression, Diggy, the thing I'm looking at is the wickets column too. One, between the second and the fourth phase, only 2 wickets fell.
Yep.
That is the key as well. You know, you're preserving your wickets in a difficult pitch, and okay, the runs will slowly increase, which it did, 33 to 55 to 60. That's exactly the gradient you want. And ideally...
This is the phase where Kohli and Shreyas Iyer they ran very hard.
That's right.
And they weren't getting too many boundary balls, were they?
So you're setting yourself up towards the last 10, which they got 87, which is not easy to get. But yeah, getting back to Keshav Maharaj, clearly the batsmen were really struggling, and he was unlucky not to pick up, more wickets. But 10 overs in a stretch,
you don't see that too much in one day.
No, it was ridiculous. It was the wrong decision, clearly.
But if you're in the pavilion, you can send a message.
Yes,
right? Can you?
I would have been.
Don't bowl him so much. Back off.
Hold him back. Hold some overs for when the new batsmen come in. There are more than one bowler in your team, one decent. You've got to trust your others. So that was clearly a mistake, I'm afraid.
Okay, 10 overs, 1 for 13. What a ball, by the way.
Brilliant. And
what a ball. It reminded me of Jadeja to Labuschagne, in fact. Yeah. In that Chennai game, the ball sort of turned.
But he should have walked, I don't know why he stood there and waited for
Perhaps he didn't know he'd got bowled.
You know, in your bowled. Jeez.
Let's look at the other bowlers. Those numbers aren't very good. Let's look at the other bowlers for South Africa, because some of them really took some stick. Okay, who's here there? Shamshi. 10 overs, 1 for 72. On a wicket where your other spinner has gone for around 3 and over. You got 7. Too many loose balls.
Yeah.
Too many loose balls.
And a bit short. He bowled too many short balls. When he pitched that up and you asked to come and push it in front of the wicket, it was really difficult. And there just was hardly enough of those deliveries. But to me, it was a bit too short.
Let's look at the rest of the bowlers. Let's look at the pace bowlers as well, because there's a problem with South Africa. Dive what more things. Lungi and Giri is going home. Kagiso Rabada, considering
good effort.
What was going on at the start, good effort from him. 33 dot balls as well. 48 when the team's gone at over 6.5 is pretty decent. Okay, let's look at who else do we have. Do we have any other bowlers to talk about? Marco Jansen had a stinker, didn't he? 9.4 overs, 1 for 94. It's almost 10 and over. Yeah. And in fact, he was bowling all over the wickets, right? He was spraying it wide, spraying it.
And look, I'll bring up
wides.
One other point here, which often goes unnoticed again. People might say, oh, here we go again. But they were exposed, the bowling group in South Africa were exposed against Netherlands, where they bowled a heap of extras. Now, the absolute number of balls extra they bowled, I know the wides that went for 4,
22 wides in all.
Yeah.
2 no balls.
I'm talking about, the extra balls that were bowled. That's more than 3 overs.
Yes.
Nearly 4 overs. It makes a difference,
And Shamsi was wide as well.
He bowls 2 or 3.
40 to 50th overs.
Man, I tell you, you've got to rein that in. If you're serious about
winning a World Cup.
Yes, you've got to do that. That's happened twice.
Okay, interesting.
Just a little point.
Interesting point. Let's look at how Rohit Sharma attacked, because we've got a couple of graphics which we've looked at in detail. One of those was Rohit Sharma's innings, his scores in the tournament so far, and we also have India in the first 10 overs and then India in overs 11 to 20, when suddenly it looked like a completely different pitch. Rohit Sharma, the impetus that he gave right from the first over, we were here, lofted shot over point and cover. It was a brilliant,
He announced
brilliant
himself.
attack.
Yeah. That's the way
threw
he's been
people
playing.
off their lengths, didn't he?
That's the way he's been playing the whole series, and he didn't disappoint. As I said, a little unlucky to have gotten out, but he immediately put the pressure back on the opposition.
These are his runs in this tournament: 131, 86, 48, 46, 87, 40. Unlike Kohli, who's staying till the end, he clearly has sort of a job for himself. He thinks, I'm going to go hard, and that allows everyone else coming behind me to sort of ease their way in and get it. It's very unselfish of him.
It is unselfish, and they're both different players as well, I can see. But, he sets the tone up front, and more times than not, it sets that team on the way to victory. And, look at those scores. I mean, they're pretty consistent, aren't they? Except for that the Sri Lankan one where he was bowled neck and crop.
And the Australian one.
And the first one, which was a little
But even the 87
unlucky.
against England was on a very difficult kind of surface.
Well, that's right. Yeah, that's the other. So he has also got the ability when, when a couple of the main batsmen get out, I better rein myself in here and guts it out, which he did. Yeah.
Let's look at India in the first 10 overs. If we can get that graphics up, because try to break it down over by over, and then we look at why did the South Africans err. Let's also remind you that this is Eden Gardens. It's like a billiard table, that carpet out there, and anything which goes into the outfield runs away for four. Dab Watmore remembers the 1996 World Cup semi-final all too well. Just dab it and it goes. Okay, this is India across the World Cup. Okay, so 27 they scored. Against Afghanistan in Delhi, they smashed it. It was a road. I keep saying road. I was there for that game. 79 against Pakistan, 63. A bit of tough here, and then 91 here. So second highest for India. But that's Afghanistan, and this is a pretty decent bowling lineup.
Yeah, surely. They're good figures. I'd like to see South Africa too. They'd be up there as well, I would think. But they're very, very good figures that reflects victories.
Okay, let's bring up South Africa's top batters at this tournament, because we've done the Kohli bit, but there's also a game going on, and South Africa will fancy themselves to chase this? You think they can chase this, considering they've got, 428, lots of 300, 399 ones? Let's bring up South Africa's top
performers.
Batting
first, Diggy, they're batting first. Don't forget, this is a
That's
chase.
the point. But have India sort of done what they were expected after they won the toss? Put the runs on the board and ask these guys, hey, you think you're good enough? Chase this down.
Absolutely. They've done, what was expected, perhaps a little bit more on that surface. But yeah, South Africa batsmen, they have to approach it with a positive mindset. And if they don't, they're doomed. So even so, with a positive mindset, they're going to go after it. I think the first 10 overs will also tell the tale.
But we won't see that kind of an assault like we saw from Rohit and Shubman Gill, because de Kock, Van der Dusen have they've been around, they've pushed it around, they've got the runs, but they set it up very well. And how do you approach this chase against the Indian batters? Because say, what's the target you would think they would tell themselves? 30 overs, say get to 170, 180, and then allow the likes of Markram, Klaasen and Miller to unleash?
I think usually you would, but I think in this particular case, you may even think of tinkling the batting order.
Set Miller up?
The first 10 overs.
But Bavuma can't do that.
Who?
Bavuma can't accelerate. So are you looking at...
Maybe he might change his arm a bit, you never know. But I think we'll all agree, once the field is spread and the ball gets a little bit older, it becomes a lot harder.
That's risks, right? That's a risk for de Kock. He's the best batter.
That's right. So even if de Kock goes slowly early, it's going to be really difficult after the 10 overs. I think they're going to have to make a decision, have a little chat in the rooms, and they're going to have to, hopefully some calculated risks to get 70, 80 runs on the board, just like India did.
Okay.
If not a bit more.
Some comments. No more with what more coming up. Jacker says, remarkable achievement by Kohli, his 49th century, matching Sachin's record, all on a special day. He's an icon in the world of cricket. Sumant says, congrats for your century. However, you are beyond the records. Humble request to you is please do keep the team interest forward instead of personal. You are the biggest ambassador of the sport. We cheer for India rather than individuals. Not today.
What does he mean?
I think he was referring to the last game. He tried to get 100.
Yeah.
Today is not the day. Today's not the day. He really battled hard. He could have tried to sort of unleash himself, unleash the beast mode, but the situation demanded him to stay till the end. Okay. Prasad says that sensible play coupled with a sensational century because he got control over the innings and he had a clutch partnership which led to the 49th ton. Jindal asks, was the pitch really difficult to bat on at the end? Or did Virat make it look so? Because Jadeja and Surya were certainly able to score quicker, while Virat was playing dot balls at the other end and building pressure on the batters.
No. The wicket, appeared to be a little easier when Jadeja came and Surya Yadav came into bat, but they had a job to do. They needed to up the ante. The guy that was not out, Virat Kohli, he had to go and be there right through. Can you imagine if he got out trying to be aggressive to up the score level? Then you got two new batsmen coming in. Then it would have been really tricky. But they went about it in absolutely the correct way. And Surya Yadav did a very good job. His contribution was significant.
Yes, he may not have got a 50, but
yes,
went at almost 200.
He kept that board and that run rate right up there, which is really
Took
good.
the pressure off Kohli as well. Anand is asking, India's bowlers have never allowed the opponents to score more than 300 in any match of this World Cup. Can we say India's going to win this match, he's asking. India's not favourites to defend?
Yeah, absolutely. But, like I said, that the opening batters have to get a move on, I think, in that first 10 overs. But they're going to have to do it against a couple of decent bowlers. Under lights, where the ball does a little bit. So I'm really keen to see, what did I have as a battle, Jasprit Bumrah against De Kock. Now, we won't be long, very soon we'll be seeing that battle start.
Yep. Okay, very quickly, Raju has a point. Out of the 49 ODI centuries from Kohli, 34 have had a strike rate of more than 100. 15 have had a strike rate of less than 100. And of those 15 matches, India have lost just 2. Just saying, while we are discussing the strike rate, some saying he's selfish.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that. That's a really good stat. And sometimes we sort of tend to get swayed by numbers of what we see out there. Perhaps, IPL sort of T20 seeps in. But on a difficult wicket, even a 70-80 is good enough. Remember Rohit Sharma's 87 in Lucknow against England?
Yeah, England.
That was as good as better than 100. Sometimes you don't realize. Okay. Who else do we have? Jatin says it's been a tradition for India to produce the best batters in the world, and Kohli has definitely been the torchbearer after Sachin passed it on. I feel Shubman Gill has the mettle to carry this torch forward into the next generation. Your thoughts?
Yes, definitely. He's the future. And as an
opening, he needs to work on his technique against left-arm bowlers because it was sort of standing leg stump, playing wrong line. Pitch of a ball, but you expect better from him.
Well, when you're averaging 60, I'll take that. But yeah, he's definitely going to be around a long time, and he'll have a chance. He'll have an opportunity to try and get close to these numbers that we see against Kohli's name and Sharma's name.
Okay, some comments here not very charitable towards Virat Kohli. I'm skipping them. Skipping them today. Khan, I don't know your name. Next time, do sort of write your name. We'll be able to call you out. There are many Khans out there. Nobody has understood the pulse of one-day international batting like Kohli. He's got 49 tons to his name. That's an important point. He somehow managed to deconstruct the blueprint of how to play in one-day internationals.
Well, 4900s. So he's have reasonable.
And he's not a destroyer like, say, a Sachin or a Gilchrist or someone like a Ponting. I think if you look at that list of who's there, I think he's very similar in the way to Sangakkara. They're not brutal. Kohli, the one-day batter, isn't brutal. He's not hitting those big sixes, you know. He's running
no, well,
hard,
that's if you're talking
putting the bowling under pressure.
If you're defining it by big sixes, then fair enough. And Sachin,
you don't need to hit big sixes to be destructive.
No, that's right. Sachin didn't hit many big sixes either.
Yeah.
But they're
especially, but it mattered when he used to find some.
Yeah.
Like Shoaib Akhtar one.
But you know, some of the best batsmen in the world, as we have seen, are small in stature, and they have wonderful footwork and great timing.
Okay, there's one. It's not fair. Our viewers have sent in some critical comments. We'll take them. We're not here to cheer anyone out here. Akram says, why was Kohli too slow? Did he play to complete his 100? If he had played a bit more faster, the total on the board could have been 360 to 370.
No, that guy was trying hard. From what I saw, I can only tell you honestly, what I saw, he was really trying hard. Not playing for himself, he was playing for the team.
Okay, Virat Kohli said in the mid-innings what we missed because it's on mute. The wicket was tricky to bat on. Ball started gripping. The pitch was slow. Communication from the team was to bat till the last ball. I think that answers it.
Yeah.
He was told, stay till the end. Stay till the end. Others around you are going to go.
Very good decision and very good messages coming from the dressing room. Very good.
The great Sachin has put out a tweet. He was sitting there. We thought he'd get it in Mumbai with Sachin sitting there, but well played, Virat. It took me 365 days to go from 49 to 50 earlier this year. He's talking about his age. I hope you get from 49 to 50 and break my record in the next few days. This is what the great Sachin Tendulkar has said. And Virender Sehwag, what a day to equal the great man's record of most ODI hundreds. His birthday at the historic Eden Gardens. Take a bow. Virat Kohli, congratulations on a great one. Well done. Okay. Important to celebrate. Okay, South Africa underway. I think we need to wrap this because we need to watch this game. Hopefully we get a contest. That what more things. India have put on a lot of runs on the board. Just very quickly. We have Kuldeep Yadav. India have Kuldeep Yadav. India have got Ravindra Jadeja. Very similar to what the South Africans had with Maharaj and Shamsi. Are you expecting those two to be your key bowlers? Or on an abrasive pitch like this, it's that man, Mohammad Shami again?
I think Shami and Bumrah might do a little bit in that first 10 overs. After that, definitely, Jadeja's going to be very miserly and he'll probably get a couple of wickets. Kuldeep will have a chance. But
He's played here as well?
It's
Night
Jadeja.
Riders? He's played for the Night Riders? He knows the ground?
Jadeja's the man today.
Okay, Jadeja's the man for him today in the second innings. The first innings, there was just one man. Took India to a big score, especially on a wicket where Dave Watmore thinks that 250 to 60 was the pass score. Dave Watmore and I will be back at the end of this match. Hopefully, we get a contest. We have seen a great battle between bat and ball. India getting to 326 because of the start that they got. Let's see if this one lives up to the hype. See you later.